How to really open your third eye. Hello, my friends. My name is JC, and I'm your physical ascension guide. And today, I'm going to go over this post I made recently that goes over 3 steps about how to open your third eye, when to do it, how to create the oil in your body, and then how to pump it through your body. So I actually printed this out. I'm going to go over this step by step. But I just want to say a couple things before we get started about opening your third eye and ascension. Is that there's a lot of fake people out there. There's tons of fake people. Almost everybody I see on the internet seems fake. Anyone who tells you that you have to do chakra work or do something like Dark Night of the Soul is nonsense. It's nonsense, fake, woke stuff, okay? That's not part of true ascension. The awakening process is, right, you're awakening to new truths. And so that is the beginning of the process. But that itself is not awakening. That's not enlightenment. There's an actual physical experience that you have to go through. And chakras aren't real in the sense that they're telling you. Okay, chakras are pumps in your body. They're not these imaginary energy points. There's a real physical pump in your body, and it pumps a fluid. And that's what raising your kundalini really is. It's not some imaginary energy work. It's a real physical thing in your body. It's an oil, and you have to pump it through your body. Okay, so they tell you have to do chakra work or you have a chakra block. It's nonsense. They don't know what they're talking about. Dark Night of the Soul also is nonsense. It's not something that you choose to go through. All right, you don't be like, oh, I think I'm going to go to the Dark Night of the Soul this weekend. That's not how it works. It's something that you automatically go through after the experience. You don't get a choice. It's like changing from a caterpillar into a butterfly. You don't get a choice, right? You're just something that you're going to go through. So, gotta get away from that nonsense, okay? All right. Whoops, dripping all over myself here. Don't you love it when they're like, all right, let's get right into it, like 5 minutes into the video? Anyways, so I printed this out. It's called Final Phase Ignition. And the technique for pumping the oil through the body is a little different than what I generally teach. Just so you know, I'm working on a new book called The Way of the Narrow Gate. And there's going to be a 30-day ascension workbook in it. And I'm going to incorporate these new processes in with my old process. And the reason for that is because really the brain squeezing technique that I did and that I teach is very difficult for people to even understand, let alone actually do. And so all these years, I've been searching for more information and more techniques to try and figure out something easier for people to do. And this is what I've come up with, is moving that sphenoid bone. When you activate that sphenoid bone in your brain and you get it moving, that helps. That's the narrow gate right there. And that is easier to do than the brain squeezing. But in my book, I'm going to incorporate everything, okay? So today we're just going to go over this new technique. So let's start with lesson 1. When to activate the sacred oil. There are 3 essential phases to true ignition of the sacred oil. When to activate it, how to generate it, and how to pump it through the body. And real quick, I just want to mention that that's another way that you can tell that these people are fake, because when you talk about the experience, they have no idea what you're talking about, and they have no idea how to do it, is another thing, right? So there's lots of fake teachers out there. So just beware. So when to do it is just as important as anything else. Now, you can probably do it at any time, I think, right? Especially if it's your first time. Probably. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I don't think you have to 100% do it during that 2.5 days the moon is in your sun sign. I think that this is the best time to do it, but maybe not the only time to do it, okay? So when to do it is important because you want the best time to do it. You want the best chance for success. And then once you do it and you start feeling it, you can get your monthly cycle and your monthly rhythm. But a lot of people can't feel it. So it's kind of hard to figure it out when. Okay, so the trick is to find out when you were born, where was the sun? Okay, now I didn't believe this part at all. And I just went and did it all on my own and kind of made up my own thing and just did it. And when the next day we went and looked and checked, it turned out that it was true. So we have to teach this part. I don't believe in normal astrology. Okay, I still don't. I don't. So this is not like that. Okay, we're not talking about some weird voodoo make-up stuff. Okay, oh, well, the moon's over here, so today you're going to have this happen. We're not talking about anything like that. We're talking about real physical things, okay? That's all I deal with. I don't deal in the nonsense at all. Okay? So, when the sun, say the sun was in the constellation Taurus when you were born. Somehow, when the moon goes through that, every month, it goes through all the signs. So every month when it goes through your sign, somehow it pulls on your water body and helps these fluids be created in your body. Okay? So it's really important to be able to get this timing down in the cycle. You got 2.5 days out of every month. Every time I make a video and I drink coffee, I can't help but think of Dr. Sebi. You don't want to build up mucus in your body. This will help you with the fluids, okay? And honestly, I'm not practicing right now. I should tell you that. You can tell by looking at me and hearing me, I'm not in it right now. And that's obvious. I'm purposefully not doing it right now. And the reason for that is because when I do, I'm so up here that people can't even understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. I purposefully have to bring myself down just to communicate with everyone. So that's why I'm not up right now. Okay, so the sacred oil is known by many names throughout the ages. It's produced in the body on a natural monthly cycle, just like a woman's menstrual cycle. This cycle is governed not by your calendar, but by the moon. The moon governs water, and since your body is mostly water, it too is affected, just like the oceans and tides. Once every month, when the moon passes through your sun sign, your body enters a powerful 2.5 day window. During this time, the pineal and pituitary glands secrete this fluid. This is your personal moon cycle, and it's the optimal time to begin raising the oil through your system. It is the key to awakening the inner fire and opening the true third eye. All right. How to find your sun sign. Forget the newspaper horoscopes. You want to locate the actual constellation the sun was in at the moment of your birth. Not the tropical zodiac sign, but the sidereal, true one. Okay, now I don't even know why the other one exists. Tropical is nonsense. It doesn't mean anything at all, as far as I can tell. You want to go off of reality. If you're a Taurus and the moon is in Aries, it's not working. Okay, you have to know where it is, and you can feel it. Once you start getting into it, you'll feel it and you'll know, because it took years to even find the truth, and I thought I found what I really was, and it still was wrong. So really do some diligent research and really dig into it and trying to find out the truth of who you really are. This is important, okay? If you think you're a Taurus and you're really an Aries and you keep trying to do it in Taurus, it's not going to work out the same. And like I said, I don't necessarily think that it has to be in this day, this 2.5 day, but it may be that this is just your best opportunity. I'm not positive about that because I've never tried to do it outside of that. All right, so to find this, use a stargazing app like Google Sky Map app or Stellarium. Those are the two that I recommend the most. Google Sky Map app for Android, Stellarium for the iPhone people. I don't know about Stellarium, but Google Sky Map app has a time travel feature, and it lets you go back in time to look at where the sun was when you were born. Not all of it is 100% accurate. I would still look up old charts, do your due diligence. You really want to put as many tools to it as you can to come up with the right answer, okay? Let's see. These let you enter the exact birth date and time. Then scan the sky to find the constellation the sun was in at your birth. This is your true sun sign, and it may be different than what you've always been told. Once you know it, track the moon's movement each month. When it passes through your sun sign, that's your sacred window. For example, I was born when the sun was in Taurus. So each month, when the moon transits Taurus for about 2.5 days, the sacred oil is created in my body. And that's when I begin the internal work, trying to pump it through, okay? This isn't just about energy or visualization. These are real glands. They produce real fluid, and that fluid is what fuels the ignition process, okay? People forget that it's called a gland. It's literally called the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. And then they're like, okay, so it's energy. No, what do glands do? Glands secrete fluids, right? So we need to get these fluids. So that's what we're doing. The waters are separated. The heavens and the earth waters. Here's the heavens waters. Here's the earth's waters down here. And we're mixing the waters, okay? They're glands. Or the fluids from the glands, okay? This isn't just about energy or visualization. Okay, I said that. They produce real fluid, and that fluid is what fuels the ignition process. This is the missing physical key in so many teachings. I'm not here to teach you anything new. I'm here to help you remember. And your body already knows all this, okay? It's already happening in you. You're just not aware of it. And it's probably not very strong, okay? When I first encountered this information, I was skeptical too, but in the end, it became the most critical turning point in my own ascension. This may feel new, and that's okay. It's ancient truth resurfacing in you. I'm here to walk with you. You can ask me anything, okay? So just a quick recap. To activate the sacred oil and awaken your third eye, begin the process during the 2.5-day window when the moon moves through your true sun sign. The timing is essential. Suggested reading. God-Man, The Word Made Flesh. I always push that book. It's a great place to start. It's the place to start. It's a foundational text based on the sacred oil and physiology of the ascension. Okay, lesson 2, how to create the oil. So once you know when the oil is produced, during the 2.5-day moon transit through your sun sign, the next step is knowing how to generate the oil with intention and purity. This is the process of refinement. Just like olive oil requires pressing, the sacred oil requires discipline. And this part, I just kind of naturally was led to go through on my own before that process. And it wasn't until afterwards I looked back and I was like, whoa, like I was prepped. Because you can't just go and try and do that technique. It's not going to work. You have to prep your soul, really, right? For a couple of reasons. For one, you need to be in a certain state for the oil to even be created. And then you need to be in that state, remain in that state when you go through the process and do the technique. Otherwise, you're going to have a horrible experience, like a bad trip or something, I'm sure. Thankfully, I was prepared properly and mine was good. But people have killed themselves over this, because it's so intense. So this isn't anything to play around with, okay? You have to prepare your soul, all right? And prepare your body and your mind, all of it, okay? The body is the alchemical lab. The oil doesn't just come from nowhere. It is crafted inside you through the merging of fluids and forces, spiritual and physical, via the pineal and pituitary glands, the cerebellum, and eventually the colostrum and medulla oblongata. I can't even say that. Sounds like something from what's that Disney movie about the lion? Anyways, to create the oil in a way that's potent enough for ignition, the following principles must be respected. Sexual energy must be conserved. I know that turns a lot of people off. We're not talking about a lifetime. We're not even talking about the whole month. It's probably preferred that you do it the whole month. But when I did it the first time, I only was not sexually active for like a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. So it's not the whole month. And there are so many benefits to seed retention, not just for men, but for women too. Women don't realize that they have this process in their body, and that these fluids, when they're wasting the fluids below, that you're just wasting these fluids, and that you can retain those and push them back into your body, and that there's benefits for that. Just like there's benefits for seed retention. And one of those benefits is that it helps in the creation of this Chrism oil that we're trying to produce, okay? I see books out there saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It only works in men because of this and blah, blah, blah. Right in that first book that I recommend reading, God Man, the Word Made Flesh, it specifically states in there that it works the same in women. And obviously women do have these experiences. So to say that it doesn't work in women is nonsense. Just recently I saw a post about that. Someone was telling some lady she couldn't do it. And I said, have you even read the books? And they're like, oh, what books? There's no books on this. I'm like, what? You're out here telling people that, like, teaching, like what you can and can't do, but you haven't even read anything yet? Like, come on. There's so much fake stuff out there. This is for everyone in the world. Everyone. Man, woman, doesn't matter what color, shape, size, none of that matters. Nothing matters. This is for everyone on earth. You have to retain some of that fluid. At least, I would suggest at least 2 weeks. I know in here I put 7 to 14 days. I would push it the farthest you can, okay? And as a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say, stop wasting your seed unless you're specifically trying to make a baby. I'm definitely pro-life. I love babies. I think all of us should have lots of more babies. So, I'm not saying don't ever have sex. I'm saying use it wisely. Okay? Maybe your partner's cycle is different than yours. So if you want to create a baby, you need to have sex at a certain time. Right? That's fine. Just don't be out there wasting it. Right? Don't be touching yourself every day in the shower or whatever you're doing. Right? You got to learn self-control. And it's hard. It's hard. And that's why a lot of people don't want to go down this path. They like to fake easy ascension because it's easy. They don't have to do anything. This isn't easy. This is hard. And this is true ascension. You have to pay a price. And that price is self-discipline, really. The body needs its most refined energy, life force, to produce this oil. Sexual energy is the raw material used. You cannot create the Chrism oil if you're constantly releasing it outward. Practice abstinence from ejaculation or orgasm for at least 2 to 3 days before the moon enters your sun sign. Ideally, 7 to 14 days. That energy must be distilled, not discharged. Okay? Purity of thought and diet. This is so important. Who would have thought that your thoughts affect your body that much? That just your thoughts could dissipate this vital life essence fluid in our bodies. That's just wild. But that's how sensitive it is. So the glands are sensitive. They require clean blood and clean signals to function correctly. What you eat, watch, feel, and dwell on matters. What you put in is what you put out, right? So if you're listening to Slayer death metal, dance with the dead in your head, or whatever, right? That's not going to create a pure thought. And so these thoughts actually help generate the oil. So when you're having those negative thoughts, or listening to negative things or watching negative things and everything's just negative, then that oil just won't produce. It just won't do it. And that's why I think, like, part of my natural process, I quit watching TV completely. And I noticed, like, it was just getting on my nerves. It was just annoying. Like, everything was murder, rape, murder, rape, murder. And you're just like, whoa, it's just too overwhelming. So I shut it off completely. I even quit watching the news. For a long time, I would still watch the weather on the news. I knew it came on at 7:15, or it was actually earlier than that. But, and I turned on for a couple minutes, just watch the weather, and then shut it back off. And eventually I got away from that too. So, I changed my music, all of that. I just stopped putting so much negative in. And once in a while, of course, I'll still listen to some metal or something when I'm working out or something like that. But definitely watch yourself, watch what you put in. And a lot of times, like, I'll change the lyrics in my head too. If they're saying something negative, I'll change it to something positive in my mind. So that way I can still enjoy the song and the beat and stuff like that, but it's not so negative. I don't know if that makes sense, but the glands are sensitive. They require... I already read all that. Okay, so what you eat, watch, feel, and dwell on matters. Reduce or eliminate sugar, processed food. Alcohol is a big one. Alcohol just destroys the oil. Emphasize water. I like reverse osmosis water, remineralized. You got to put the minerals back in. Fruit, dark leafy greens, and light meals. It says that gluttony is a sin because too much, when your body is trying to digest too much food, it helps destroy this oil. All right, the body, that's why I think fasting, now I don't think fasting is necessarily required. I'm going to include that as part of my steps in my workbook, just to slow down on the food, not necessarily just stop eating, all right? But a lot of people fast. Fasting does lead to having, what's the right word? Like, you're not going to ascend just from fasting. Fasting isn't going to cause these oils to push through your body all on their own, but it does lead to purification. That's not quite the right word I'm looking for. I can't think of it, but it helps. It helps you put you on that path with the divine, right? Because your body's just not all about trying to digest and push all this food, and your intestines are full and all this stuff, and your body's just bloated, right? You got to let it calm down and let your body concentrate on the manna. So also, I have a theory that maybe we don't need to eat. Maybe that we could live off the nourishment of this if we could do it properly every month. That's something I'm working on. I haven't even tried it myself yet, but eventually I think I'm going to get there. So you definitely want to watch what you're putting in your body, okay? Minimize stimulants like coffee near the cycle. So I just had my cycle not too long ago, so that's why I don't care about drinking coffee right now. Although eventually, that's one of like my last things I'm pushing completely out of my life is going to be coffee. And at one point I had quit drinking it for a long time. But as I fell back down and was looking for answers instead of going through the process more, I kind of got back into some old habits. I smoked cigarettes for a long time, again, afterwards. So it was really hard to go back through, okay, I got to start over, I know how to do it, start back at square one, push these out of my life, and get back into the rhythm, right? So just know that in your own journey, if you fall down, it's okay. As long as you get back up, that's what counts. And practice gratitude and stillness. These purify the subtle body. Definitely gratitude. Be thankful every day. Even if you're in a horrible situation, just be grateful that you have another day. And Another day to experience God, really, another day to have an experience just to live. In stillness, it feels good to exercise. It feels good to do sports and stuff like that. But when you get closer to your 2.5 days window, you want to work more on stillness, right? And take moments out of every day for stillness, especially if you're super active, right? You just take a moment, just, and then carry on with your day. That's all it takes. Just do that a couple times a day. That's a good start, okay? It doesn't have to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's just a moment. Just take a moment, a breath, and just be still. Still your mind, still your body, okay? Breath is the primer. Breathing is not optional. It's the ignition switch. Slow, deep, diaphragmatic breath charges the cerebral spinal fluid and increases magnetism in the spinal column. Practice conscious belly breathing. Inhale through the nose slowly. Count of 4 to 6. Hold for 4 to 6. Exhale 6 to 8. Visualize the breath cleansing the spine and charging the sacrum. So when you breathe, a lot of people just get the breath and they're like, oh, that's all you need, right? And they see, it's been a while since I watched these guys. I quit watching their videos a while ago. What's his name? He teaches the breath. I can't remember his name right offhand. But anyways, there's way more to it, right, than just breathing. But breathing is a huge part of it. Like I said, it creates a magnetism. Like this oil is kind of magnetic. And so that kind of helps, right? And but what I did, so I'm going to teach you 2 different ways, okay? So one is just regular deep breathing, okay? Belly breathing is just breathing normal. When you breathe in, your stomach fills up, right? And so what you're doing is creating a pressure vacuum system in your spine. And so when you just breathe normal like that, but it's a deep breathing, you're actually putting pressure on your spine. And that's causing friction, and it's creating magnetism with that oil. So this is a good breathing exercise. However, what I first did was reverse breathing. And what that does is it creates a vacuum inside. So it kind of helps suck that oil through the body. Okay. So there's 2 ways to do breathing. And for this particular one, we're going to do the belly breathing. But my original one is reverse breathing. And in my workbook, we're going to be using reverse breathing. In the full book, I'm going to talk about both of them and go into more details, okay? But I just wanted you to know that. So alignment of spine and posture. So this kind of happened for me naturally too, because I had a back injury. I have 2 herniated discs in my lower lumbar, so I have to pretty much sit straight all the time. My family even gives me a hard time about it. I remember I was at a family reunion and I'm sitting there like this, and my aunt called me a stiff back, and she's like, just relax or something. And I'm like, I am relaxed. Like, this is me relaxed. I just sit like this. The spine is the golden staff, the path the oil must climb. If you're hunched, compressed, or blocked energetically, the oil won't rise. Practice spinal stretches. Stand or sit upright daily. So you gotta keep that staff straight, right? You can't be all and then think it's gonna work. Spend time in a horse stance, a low squat, to awaken the pelvic floor and start activating the lower pumps. So that's going to be your, I didn't even know that there was a name for the taint. I thought that's what it was called. The perineum is what it's really called. And that's where your Kegel muscles are, right? So you can squeeze that. And that's what they're talking about what I'm talking about when I say pelvic floor, okay? And these are like terms that they use in yoga, right? Like horse stance, stuff like that. Pelvic floor. And I'm trying to use terms that are more familiar to people. When I say for guys to squeeze their Kegels, they're like, what? So it's like when you cut off your pee, right? And it's those muscles that are in between your legs, in between the front and the back, right in the middle. You can squeeze right there. That's your pelvic floor, okay? And so that when you pump that's going to do a couple different things. For one, that's going to just pump itself. As a pump itself, singular, I can't even say the word, singularly, just by itself, acts as a pump, okay? So when you're squeezing it, it's going to help pump this oil through. But also, somehow, it's connected to the sphenoid bone in your brain. There's like some kind of little magical tether in there. And so when you are squeezing, it's causing the bone to go like this, just a little bit. And it's just enough to help. Okay. You have to remember that the oil is already in you, but only the disciplined draw it up. This is why monks, sages, and adepts live with such intentionality. You're not being restricted, you're being prepared. Okay, so people think, like, especially with the semen retention, like, oh, I'm being restricted. You're not being restricted. You're being prepared. Right now, you're just squalling your life away, right? You're being prepared for so much more, my friend. You have no idea. Suggested practice. Start refining now. Even if your moon cycle is weeks away, the more you purify in advance, the stronger the oil becomes. Okay, so quick recap. To create the sacred oil, conserve your life force. Purify body, mind, and blood. Breathe with awareness. And keep the spine clear and open. Okay, now we're going to move on to how to pump the oil through the body. Okay, you got the when, you got the how to create it. Now how to pump it through the body. Optimized technique for maximum success. Once the sacred oil is generated in the pineal and pituitary glands and descends to the sacrum, your mission is to lift it back up. Slowly, deliberately, with power, through the spinal cord, activating the 7 sacral pumps until it returns to the throne, the thalamus. And now present one unified technique, optimized from ancient practices, refined by semantic understanding, and designed for anyone to follow. Okay, do this daily during the 2.5 day window. Time of day. The ideal times are early morning or before bed. Before bed, this is when melatonin and glandular activity is the highest. And that's when I did it, is at bedtime. So it's up to you. You can do it in the morning. And like I said, try it a couple of times during the day. All right, don't just do it once. Do it 2-3 times. Clothing, loose or none. I was nude when I did it. Posture. Start seated or standing. Finish lying down or reclined. Duration, 15 to 30 minutes total. Repeat 2 to 3 times during the sacred window. Unified Chrism rising technique. Open the channel, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so this is going to be 15 to 30 minutes long, okay? So step 1, you want to open the channel. Position, seated or standing upright, spine aligned, horse stance or lotus. The goal is to awaken the base pumps, pelvis, belly, breath, and create magnetism. Okay, the magnetism is key here. So the breath pattern. Inhale deeply through the nose into the lower abdomen. Belly expands for 4 to 6 seconds. Then slightly lift the perineum, like stopping urine. Exhale slowly through the nose, 6 to 8 seconds. On the exhale, draw the belly in. Lift energy up from the pelvic floor. So again, that's squeezing that perineum, okay? So what that looks like is just simply just breathing in. Draw that belly in on your exhale. Again, breathe in and let that belly expand. Exhale slowly. Squeeze all that. Squeeze, squeeze, push it in, push in your belly. Okay, so that's what that looks like. You just want to keep doing that. 10 to 15 full breaths. And your mental focus is imagine the fluid coiling at the base of your spine. Light rocking motion of the pelvis can help stimulate the sacrum. So that's what, I had mentioned that recently too, is even just rocking back and forth. I know you can't see it, but I'm rocking back and forth just a little bit and kind of get that pelvic, it's almost like a pelvic thrust while you're sitting. But you can just, so right now I'm moving everything, right? Kind of rocking everything. But you can just kind of thrust your pelvis too. See, and nothing else is moving. It's just my pelvis is just barely rocking. And what that's doing is not only moving that sphenoid bone, but it's kind of loosening everything up down there. And then also it's helping pump that oil. And there is no other is there? Yeah, so it's help. Oh yeah, there is. It's helping create that magnetism and that friction. Okay. Part 2 or step 2, activate the midline pumps. Okay, so those are the lower pumps that you're activating. Your abdomen and your perineum. Okay. Now activate the midline pumps for 5 to 10 minutes. Position. Now lie down on your back or sit in a supported reclined seat. Move the oil through the diaphragm, ribs, heart, and throat. Okay, so the oil is descended. We've started activating these pumps. We're going to go back up. Inhale slowly through the nose. Feel the ribs expand sideways. Slightly tuck the chin. And remember, you're laying down, right? Or in a chair. So just slightly tuck your chin. And hold your breath. So the chin is engaging the throat and glottis pump. Remember, these aren't chakra points, imaginary energy points. They're pumps, okay? So you got the glottis pump in your throat. Hold your breath for 2 to 3 seconds. Exhale through the nose while lifting the perineum and drawing up the belly. Okay, so you're incorporating all this together, okay? Squeeze from base to heart like you're drawing water up a straw. And repeat that for 10 to 15 rounds. Visualize oil moving upward like the golden honey through the central channel. You may feel warmth or tingling. That's the current awakening. Okay, so you want to visualize the oil moving up. First, we were visualizing it coiled at the base of the spine. Now we're visualizing the oil coming up. But it's not just visualization, right? We're using the pumps. So you got to breathe in through the nose, hold it, and as you exhale slowly, squeeze everything down here, basically, right? Your stomach, your perineum, and direct it to the throne, okay? Now, you want to do that for like 10 to 15 rounds. So that's, again, that first part was 3 to 5 minutes. The second part is 5 to 10 minutes. And then this third part is actually getting it into the throne, okay? And you want to do this for like 5 to 10 minutes. So your position is stay reclined or lying flat, head slightly elevated with a pillow if needed. The goal is to reach the sphenoid, pineal, and thalamus with the oil, okay? The cranial pumping. So inhale deeply. Gently tilt your head back as you inhale. So I just want to explain this. So as you tilt your head, so just nodding your head, yes, okay? That's what we're talking about. Just slightly. Ever so slightly. It doesn't have to be like, okay? Just a slight nod is moving that sphenoid bone. And so we're trying to incorporate all this together. And we're using all these pumps and getting the bone moving and getting this fluid pumping, right? Okay, so as you hold your breath, squeeze the whole spine upward. Then exhale and return the head to neutral. On your exhale, roll your eyes upward and focus attention at the center of your skull between your ears above palate. Repeat for 5 to 10 rounds. Picture the oil anointing the thalamus and pineal like sacred chrism, pulsing in the skull, warmth, inner light, tears, peace. Oh, sorry, you may feel that. So the focus, picture the oil anointing the thalamus and pineal like the sacred chrism, and you may feel pulsing in the skull, warmth, inner light, tears of peace. So again, let's kind of go over that, okay? So you're lying flat or reclined. You want to inhale deeply, gently tilt your head back as you inhale, hold your breath and squeeze the whole spine upward, okay? And then exhale and return the head to neutral. So that's like this. Okay, now I'm not holding it or anything. I'm just trying to do it quickly just to show you real quick what that looks like. Okay, kind of squeezing it back up, right? And that's after you've done all the pump work down here, okay? So you're kind of like, it's kind of like, okay, a couple minutes here, and then a couple minutes up here. And kind of incorporate all of that together. And it's difficult. It's not easy. And it's basically the same thing that I've taught originally. It's just the breathing's slightly different. That's all. So basically what you're doing is you're trying to almost move like a worm, kind of, right? Like it kind of reminds me for you older people, the worm in breakdancing. They would just do the worm. And that's pretty much what we're doing. Only we're trying to squeeze these pumps in our body to help push this fluid through. And some of these actions and some of the way that you breathe will naturally help this occur, okay? But we have to focus and use our real muscles and stuff to help it along, okay? So, summary of key points. Phase, time, position, focus. Step 1. Base pumps, 3 to 5 minutes, standing or seated, breathing from the pelvis, lift from the perineum. Step 2, midline, 5 to 10 minutes, lying or reclined diaphragm, heart and glottis pumps. Step 3, ascension, 5 to 10 minutes, reclined or flat, raise oil to sphenoid, thalamus, and pineal. Some important reminders. Do not force the breath or strain. Stay relaxed, but focused. Okay, don't, and we're like squeezing these pumps and stuff, so it's kind of hard to say don't force it because we are forcing it, but you don't want to strain yourself, right? Like you start straining yourself, especially when we're working with the brain technique, you could cause not a heart attack, but a stroke or something, right? You don't want to do any of that. You don't want to strain yourself that hard. Okay, this is supposed to be a natural process, so yes, we have to work for it, and yeah, it's a little to it, but it shouldn't be that hard to do, you know? Like, we're not doing that. Don't skip step 1. This is very important. This is where the magnetic charge is built. Step 2 and 3 are a natural progression. You may do them separately if needed, but the full sequence is ideal. That's what I'm saying. You gotta like try and incorporate all of that together, okay? The first time you do this during the sacred moon window is the most important. But after that, monthly or seasonal maintenance is easier. Like you don't have to do this every month. I don't do it every month. You can do it once a year. You can do it a couple times a month. It's up to you. I haven't even done it for a while myself. I'm actually getting ready to do it. It's been a while and I miss it. So I'm going to do it again myself here pretty soon. But that's really all you need to know for opening your third eye. All that other stuff is going to happen to you afterwards. Like Dark Night of the Soul. Like I said, you're not going to have a choice. You're going to go through that. Surprise! That's what it's going to be like. And, really, it's not what you think. It's not what people say. It's just a dark moment where you shed, kind of, right? You're shedding your old self. And that's kind of what it is. All right? And you're going to face some things, but it's okay. I mean, that's why we're going through this. And if you're prepared, you'll be okay, because you have to work on yourself to get started anyways, before you even do any of this. Because the oil won't even be created if you're in these negative states, right? So you have to change your state anyways. That's the awakening part. This is the enlightenment part, though. All right, there's more to the awakening. So I hope this helps you learn some truths and understand how to really open your third eye. It's this physical process inside. You got to get this oil pumping through your body. It's not just some, oh, I'm living in 5D because I feel good type of thing, or I have some new understanding on life or something like that. That's not true ascension, okay? 5D doesn't even mean that. 5D means a new body from the oil. You don't live in 5D like you're in some other kind of dimension. That's part of the nonsense that's out there. Okay. So again, read that book, God, Man, the Word Made Flesh. If you have any questions, write them out for me. I'm here for you. I love you, my friends. Till next time.